Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the TV27 Sports for this evening. A very special announcement at the Jasper High School Library today concerning one of the best basketball players in the state of Indiana.
This decision, although it's been time-consuming, has been one that I've been very confident and comfortable with for about the last month. I believe it will allow me to develop and reach my full potential as a student, a person, and a basketball player. This is why I've decided to make a verbal commitment to continue my basketball career at Indiana University.
There's the announcement, joined now by the man of the hour, Michael Lewis. Michael, just talk a little bit about the announcement and why Indiana.
Well, ever since I was little, I wanted to play at Indiana. When I was out in the driveway, that's where I dreamed of playing at. And I think that's something that every kid in southern Indiana, dreams of playing at Indiana. And so, when I had the opportunity to go there, I knew, there's no question in my mind that that's where I wanted to go. And I decided if I knew now that I might as well make the commitment now and get it out of the way.
When did Indiana become part of the picture?
Probably about last summer. When I was out at Pittsburgh at the 5-star camp, they probably stepped in a little bit. And, all through the season I've been up to, several games, and I talked to the coaches. And, each time I got up there it was more and more serious. And, at the Minnesota game, that's when we talked about, me going up there. And, at that time we just decided it was best for everybody that involved that any announcement be held off until after my team was defeated in the tournament, and so now we decided it was best time as any to let everybody know.
You talked about dreaming about going to Indiana, but what swung it your way? Was it the practices or games that you saw, or Coach Knight or Coach Dockage? What was the turning point?
I think it's the coaching staff probably most. I know when I'm going to go up there that the coaches are very demanding, but I think they're going to make me not only a better basketball player, but a better person as well. And I just felt comfortable with the whole situation up at IU, and I'm just very happy that that's where I'm going to be in another year.
What was your first encounter with Coach Knight like?
Well, my first encounter with Coach, he was very straightforward. I guess you could say my vocabulary expanded a little bit during the first meeting, but he had a lot to say, a lot of good things, and we sat down and talked for about a half an hour, and I went up to another game later, and like I said, things just got more and more serious.
What about this year's basketball season that you had? You did a lot of things both individually and team-wise. It had to be a great year for Michael Lewis and the Jasper Wildcats.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I had a great year because the team had a great year. My teammates, set me up, and there's nothing I can say, more about my teammates other than they were great. They were great to play with, and they're not only great teammates, but I can also say that they were great friends. And that's something that I can take with me for for many years going on. And I think we've established friendships on this team that will last for a while. And it was just great playing with them, and I'm just happy that I had the opportunity to play with them.
Are these two programs similar in some of the things that happen in your practices and your games and the Indiana situation?
Well, I'm sure they are a little bit. I'm sure up at IU things are much more intense than they are here. I think that's the way it is on any college level. Things are much more intense. We run the motion offense much like IU does, and hopefully that when I step on campus up there, I'll be ready to go, and I'll fit into their plans perfectly.
What are some of the things you want to do yet, both basketball-wise, to get ready for IU and to help the Wildcats win next year? What are you going to have to do?
I'm going to have to hit the weight room. Obviously, I'm going to have to put on some strength to be able to compete in the Big Ten Conference. It's one of the best conferences in the nation, and it's known for its physical play, and I'm going to have to be ready for that. So I think, within the next year and a half, I'm going to have to hit the weight room pretty hard and put on some weight.
Michael, I like that IU hat. That's a nice-looking hat you got on there, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for all your help, and best of luck at Indiana and next year with the Wildcats.
Thank you.
That's Jasper guard Michael Lewis, who orally committed to play basketball at Indiana University when he becomes a freshman in a couple of years. Eric will be back with more news and weather after this. All right, man, appreciate it.